You're listening to the Claret and Big Blue podcast on the Pass the Gravy Podcast Network.
Damn, Daniel.
Over the middle, touchdown Giants.
Taken away by Wicks.
Oh, it's glorious. It's Pettis to Jones. Oh, what a catch by Daniel Jones.
Cleared as far as Saeed Ben Rama.
And we are live.
We'll do it live.
Welcome everyone to Claret and Big Blue, probably the only podcast on the internet dedicated to West Ham United and the New York Giants. That's right, football and football balls for everyone's taste. I don't know why Alex is leaving in, but I'm Mike Fish, and I'm joined as always by Alex Middlefun. How you doing, buddy? Oh, you can't hear me?
Hold on, I don't know what's going on with my headphones.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's happening, man.
I thought he was leaning in because he was really interested in what I was saying, but apparently he can't hear shit. And you know how tech-savvy he is, because he thought by leaning in to the screen that would somehow make him able to hear me. But anyway, while Alex sorts out his tech issues, what are we going to talk about this week? Obviously, we're talking about the last-minute heartbreak for West Ham as they fell 1-0 to Manchester United by that bullshit goal. And also, new general manager for New York Giants, Joe Schoen. And then we've got, obviously, the head coach interviews ongoing. We'll talk about who's favourites, who we want, who we don't, and things like that.
There we go.
Do we have you back now? You with us?
Yeah, I don't know what happened right there.
I was just saying, I loved how you couldn't hear me, so you thought by leaning in, you might be able to. Is he speaking quietly?
No, I was trying to read to connect my AirPods and stuff. I don't know what fucking happened.
So there you go. That's Apple just trying to screw with us.
That's what it is.
But anyway, you with us. How you been?
Good. How about you, dude?
I'm doing well. I was just kind of recapping what we're going to talk about. It's kind of weird that when we was before we went live, we was like, oh, what are we going to talk about? And then I just remembered, because it seemed so long ago, since the last time we did a show, we had a new general manager appointed, right? That wasn't a thing last time. So, I mean, before we get into that, kind of let's talk fun things rather than boring things. Did you get up to anything interesting in the last 7 days? Any special adventures over down in H-Town?
Not really, man. I just watched a pretty awesome week of football. I love not having to worry about the Giants ruining our weekend football-wise. So it was good to watch maybe the best 4 games in a row ever, it felt like.
There was a pretty intense weekend for football. It's like somehow the stars aligned and they organized them perfectly where they just kept getting better and better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
and also,
awesome.
Just because I'm too old already, do you know what? I really love the fact that they can't do this every season because obviously they try to get 3 games in on a Sunday. But I loved how early the Sunday game finished, the late game.
Yeah, I felt that way as well. It was like, oh, okay, it's 8 o'clock or whatever, 9 o'clock. This is awesome. Not usually the game started about 8:15.
Yeah, normally it's 12:30 my time when the game finishes, and I'm kind of, oh. And now I suppose I have to go to bed.
Yeah, right.
And be a productive human being. But no, there was so much more room for activities on Sunday. It was awesome. Alex O joined us live in chat, which obviously, if you are listening to us on demand, you can do this every Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central, live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So you have to do the intro again since Alex missed it. No, well,
I want you to do it again.
I introduced you. I was like, hey, it's Mike Fish, and I'm joined as always by Alex Middlefun because you're a fun guy. But then you just missed it. It was awesome. But
I don't hate that.
First time. Alex Middlefun. You should do. Oh, he's going for the AirPods again. He's
They're
attempting
back.
the AirPods. You're in the AirPods? They're charged?
They're back. They're good.
Beautiful. No one wants wine. I don't even know I've got wines, but whatever.
Well, I look like a peasant. Well, no, you have the cool over the ear ones. I always feel like when you watch stuff on like I don't know about you, but like when you watch local news and stuff, and now that everybody can do it from Zoom, like somebody has like the big ass fucking like a doctor with the giant ass like bigger than these just earbuds. You're like, dude, you're a doctor, buy some fucking AirPods, man.
Well, no, my favorite ones when for some reason they feel like I'm going to be interviewed by a local media or even big mainstream media. And they're like, should I go to my laptop? No, I'm just going to go with my cell phone. And so they're just like interviewed like this.
And there's like the black part right here. Like this part of the screen is black. It's like smaller.
It's like I'm watching a YouTube video from 15 years ago. Terrible. Was YouTube a thing?
Some people have
15 years ago?
adapted.
I think it was.
Some people have adapted, and a lot of people have not. But you'd think if you're on like every, like there, I'm not gonna mention which station, but there's this one guy. It's like a expert, like a medical expert, and whatever he does, he's like in his coat, but he's just got like the biggest like fucking AirPods, not AirPods, but like attached headphones and stuff. And you're like, dude, come on, just spring for some AirPods. They're not super cheap, but they're not like you're a doctor.
I'm sure you can spring like
You've got the money.
$150. But you see that Apple that
you look like a poor, all right?
Is it AirPods Plus where they have the over the ear ones? They're Bluetooth. It's like they're not AirPods if they're over they're less convenient.
I bought
sure.
like my first pair. Actually, I bought a couple of pairs of like the first ones, and then my dad gave me this as like these as a gift, like the second gen ones, which just go like deeper in the ear, I guess. But like I don't know. That's what I've heard. But fortunately, I've never gotten to be the one that makes him say that. But I don't know.
Whatever. She's got a ring on her finger now. She's too late. She can't get out of it now.
Right? She's stuck. She's
trapped. So yeah, Giants news. I guess Joe.
Talking headphones.
Woo! Joe Schoen. Are you happy? You mad? You indifferent? How are you feeling?
Well, I feel like we said last week, we don't really know a ton about him except that he helped build the Bills, and the Bills looked pretty good. So I am going to hope that he can build the Giants that way.
I mean, where did he come?
I didn't really.
From?
He was on the Bills. He's the Bills assistant GM. Yeah,
and they've been doing quite well.
Yeah, well, he drafted Josh Allen. He's turned the team in from like a laughing stock of the league to like help turn them into the team that just barely lost to the Chiefs because of some questionable, OT rules or whatever. I don't really disagree with the overtime rules. I think that those were already set in place, but I would have liked to see the Bills get to play.
I mean, okay, my opinion on that one. So, what's up, Tony? Guess I'm the only one here. No, we've got other people here. We're just on multiple platforms, so you might be the only one on Facebook. But
yeah,
we've got people in. We've got Alex here, joining in. But the overtime thing, I had like disagreements, shall we say, on social media where I was like, the rules are bullshit, and because I just felt, even though I had no dog in the game, I didn't really care who won, but the game was so awesome. It was like I felt robbed not being able to have the Bills try to make a comeback. You know what I mean? It's kind of it's kind of a shitty way to end it.
I think the Bills should, like, in my opinion, I feel like it's like soccer and football have it backwards to me. Where like soccer, I don't understand why they don't just do golden goal. Like whenever I play FIFA, but they should keep doing golden goal because it makes the most sense. Like in soccer, if one team gets the kickoff, takes it, kicks it down the field, that's on somebody else because it's a consistent game of going back and forth. If you're unless it's like a pick six to end it, which a pick six that kind of satisfies either way of the ending. It's like the offense had the ball, the defense just took it and scored. Like if you're in soccer, it makes sense to have a golden goal that ends it right when they score. But like in football, it's like, well, the other team should have a possession at least.
Right.
It's not as fluid offensively and defensively. So I don't know. I feel like in my idea, if I had to fix NFL overtime, you just give them like a 15-minute quarter, you play it out. We would have got 15 more minutes of that, which would have been awesome.
Or even if they don't want it to drag
10
out,
minutes.
to make it 10 minutes or something. But yeah, to have it, because I thought they had changed it. Because I thought I got caught off guard. I was like, did I miss something?
No, they changed
because when the referee
from a full
said
quarter and regular season to 15 minutes, and then a while back, because it used to be like a field goal you could kick a field goal and end it. And then it was a touchdown on the first possession ends the game, and after that, it's next score wins.
And then it's like if you score a field goal first, and then the other team
and then somebody else
doesn't
can match it. Yeah.
do anything, then it's game over.
Right.
Right. But yeah, the way the referee was explaining the rules, so he was saying like, "Hey, we're starting a new game. 15 minutes. We're playing to find a winner." So I was like, "Oh shit! Did I miss something here? Are we actually playing like a full 15 minutes here?" I was like excited, and then obviously that wasn't the case.
Well, there's so many
College
things
overtime
you can do.
rules. What? Okay,
The
you have
college
to
overtime
explain.
kind of college
what are they?
overtime
'Cause
fucked theirs up. Now they just go for 2 after like the second overtime. But it used to be you'd start at the 25 or the 20. I think it was the 20 or 25. You'd start at the opposing 25, and then you just like you got to keep going. And so it'd be like you would want to be on defense first because you would get to see what you'd match. So it would be like it would have been the Bills would have started at the Chiefs 25. You get to go down the field and see if you can score or get a field goal. Then the Chiefs would get a chance to match it. And then if they did that, then the Bills would go on defense again and the Chiefs would go. And it was just kind of back and forth. It's a shorter field, but like in the NFL, like teams are going to score way more than that. So I feel like just kick it off twice.
Yeah, everyone should have a go. Because then people are saying, "Well, the Bills' defense should have been better." It's like, well, okay, yeah, just because you can avoid overtime doesn't mean the overtime rules.
Just stop them.
But it's like, just because you can avoid overtime doesn't mean the overtime rules aren't shitty. That's not my point. Yes, of course, if you have the chance to not go into overtime, you should avoid it, obviously. But it doesn't mean the rules are not shitty. I don't know, whatever. I still don't know why I get so annoyed at people on Twitter. That's their job, to annoy people, but whatever. Yeah, anyway, Joe Schoen. So I mean, he looks like I was saying last week. He looks like a nice guy. He looks like a guy. We had fucking what's his face? I can't even remember fucking name. Dave Gettleman, who looked like
a villain
troll. So not that matters, obviously, but yeah. So it's exciting, and obviously we've been doing the head coaching interviews. Yeah, was it today the first one or yesterday?
We talked to Dan Quinn yesterday.
Right, and then
Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn.
I know it's been going for a while because obviously we had the guy with a second interview today, the bowl.
Brian Dable, yeah, we had him. He did a Zoom interview last week. We had him in person, which I like to think of. I know that both that Mara and Tish, the two co-owners, were there in the interview, but I like to think of Joe Schoen as like his second day in the building because he's finally able to come to New York away from the Bills. This is his first time being in the building. I like to think that like he's just like, all right, so if we'll just go up here to my office. Oh crap! You know what? This is not my office. My office is the next hallway. Like I like to think of him just like awkwardly leading these coaching candidates down,
just
like
trying to pretend like he knows where everything is.
Getting law, and yeah, we're over here. This is nope, that is a janitor's closet. My bad.
But just in case you
this is
need to know that.
Room. This is where the janitor usually puts things.
And just walks into the office and there's Dave Gettleman still sleeping on the floor. Dave, get out! Come on,
you
get
can't
out!
Sleep here.
Jesus Christ!
Your card. How does your card key still work?
I came through the window. Oh, for fuck's sake, Dave! Come on. I know I'm talking too much about complaining, but I saw someone because there's some people haven't had their first interview yet, right? And we completed a second interview this week, and I saw some people complaining how it was like unprofessional that we had a second interview before some people had their first. Blah, 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 blah. I was like, seriously, like the way the Giants have been in the last few years, that you're now bitching about that. Seriously, that's the least of our worries about the scheduling of the interviews. Fuck's sake, just
like you don't know, like you're not in the interviews, you don't know how they're going. Maybe it's like, you know what? Hey, like Brian Dable was literally like his team's in the playoffs. Like maybe he was like I don't think that was the case because I'm sure he scheduled it at a good time. But like oh hey, I got to do a film session real fast with the guys. Hold on, can we pick up this another time? And then maybe it's just a continuation, but it is a second interview because it's the second time they talk. I don't think that's the case, but it's like who knows what happened in those interviews? Maybe there's bad internet connection last week. Maybe now they're having him in person because it's easier.
Maybe his AirPods weren't working.
Maybe his AirPods weren't working. It's possible. We saw what just happened here. We almost
We
had
did
to
that
do
on
a second
purpose.
podcast. It's a
We
proven example.
Exactly. This is you're learning here on Current Big Blue Podcast.
To a point, not an example.
Is there any favorites for you? I mean, obviously it's all up. There's no point guessing. Oh, this guy's the favorite because we're not in the interviews, but people will try anyway. But
Right.
if you were to pick one, is there one, or is you kind of like, I don't give a shit. I just want someone who comes in and knows what they're talking about.
I mean, I want somebody that's gonna fucking win. I definitely want that. My opinion doesn't really matter, but Brian Dable seems to be the popular discussion, the popular name that you hear around there. And we've said the last couple of weeks, pretty much since Judge got fired and we found out that, like, oh, we're going to get a head coach and GM combo. Like, let's go offense-minded guy this time. Or gal, but probably going to be a guy. Offensive-minded guy. Because we have not been able to score any points, and it's really hard to win and stay in games if you can't score points. Brian Dable is really like the only offensive guy I see on the list of like popular reoccurring names with this coaching search. You have Brian Flores, ex-Dolphins coach, Dan Campbell. Or not Dan Quinn, excuse me. Dan Campbell's the coach of the Lions. Dan Quinn, the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys. Leslie Frazier, the DC for the Bills. And then Patrick Graham, who was the Giants DC the last couple of years. I think that's more of a formality. I think Patrick Graham is a really good defensive coordinator. I just don't see, like it seems like this Giants organization right now is trying to do the let's not promote from within. And with McAdoo, we promoted from within, and that didn't work. And with Gettleman, that was sort of an in-house hire because he had so many connections with those guys. I think they're really trying to just kind of go outside the organization, although it is up to Joe Schoen now. I think that Dable makes the most sense. We've said pretty much since we found out some of the hot coaching or hot GM candidates. We were like, if it's polls, we think Bieniemy could be the guy, the coach, the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. We just kind of thought that like the 49ers guy might have brought in McDaniels. I think that Dable or Frazier makes sense with Schoen, and I feel like Dable, just with what he's done with that offense, would be awesome. I saw somewhere though, the Ravens fired their defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, or he stepped away from them. I think that I saw that if it would be Dable, that a very, very likely scenario, and Dable, Ken Dorsey, who's the quarterback's coach for the Bills right now. If he's not retained as the offensive coordinator, then it's very likely he would be Dable's offensive coordinator there with the Giants, and then Martindale as the DC. So that's a pretty solid little lineup. And if you don't remember, Ken Dorsey was also the quarterback of like the greatest college football team of all time, the 2000s Miami Hurricanes, that had all those guys.
No idea.
And then he was on the Browns
and 20 years ago.
And I want to say he was maybe even on the Bills for a little bit. But yeah, Ken Dorsey, look him up. He was like a part of a bunch of great teams, but he wasn't ever like the great player on the great teams.
But yeah, he's my favorite.
Heisman finalist, I think.
Just mainly because, like you say, I think we need offensively minded guys in there, and the fact that he
just don't want to score points, dude. We got to score points.
He has experience working with Joe Schoen, so it makes sense. Have a nice cohesive unit coming in.
You want to go with your guys usually, and this has worked in Buffalo. Maybe this will work, for the Giants as well. And I think Brian Flores, like if I was ranking it, it would probably go likeliest hires would be Dable, Flores, Frazier, or Quinn in some order of that. I don't know, but I think it's going to be Brian Dable or Brian Flores. We're going to get a Brian as our coach. Very
Love
likely.
a good Brian.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have to start getting used to it. Hopefully, that's the first name of our coach for a very, very long time to come. I don't know personally between Dan Quinn and Leslie Frazier. Leslie Frazier just wasn't a very good head coach for the Vikings. Dan Quinn did get fired eventually, but he did take the Falcons to the Super Bowl. A lot of that you could say was because of Kyle Shanahan. So who knows? But Dan Quinn has a lot of like hardcore like experience in like Super Bowls, like whether it be the Seahawks defensive coordinator or the head coach of the Falcons. But he's been in the playoffs a lot of times. He was a great defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. I just think that like you got to realize he's not going to get to bring Micah Parsons with him. So that's going to probably affect it. But I think he's a great defensive guy as well. Either way, but I would probably want to say my rankings would be Dable, then Flores, then Quinn, then Frazier. Patrick Graham, I love Patrick Graham. Even though our defenses weren't like the best, he seems like a nice guy. I just don't see him as our head coach.
We don't want nice guys anymore.
Like he's part of the
more
last
Mr. Nice
regime.
Guy.
He's part of the last regime, and it's like when you're trying to rip the Band-Aid off, start fresh like the Giants are. It's like, yeah, you can't, you know. Best of luck.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, no, don't say that. Just thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
And then just salute him on the way up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting.
Who do you
times.
want? Who do you want the most? What are your thoughts? I forgot to ask you that. I was so caught up in what I was saying.
I mean, you know me. I don't know much about all the background information of other teams, but I think I just go on the fact that is it Dable?
Dable. Ball with Dable, da bang da dang diggy.
Kid Rock, baby. Yeah, I just like him just one because I think he looks like he knows what he's doing. I could see him on the sidelines with the headset, with the Giants gear on. He looks good, looks the part. Also, he has the connection with Joe Schoen. He's worked with the offense of the Bills, which has been very good this year, considering
how
they
do you
had
see
one
that
guy.
offense
They had one
on
guy.
Sunday?
They had one
He
guy
had 4
against the
touchdowns.
Chiefs score more touchdowns that I feel that the Giants scored in total season. It feels like.
Yeah, he scored 4 more than Kenny Galladay did, and Kenny Galladay played a whole season, and he scored 4 more in that game than Kenny Galladay did the entire time with the Giants. But yeah, like how do you watch that game with the Bills Chiefs and not see what the Bills offense is doing? Like, I would love any of that to be what the Giants are doing. I would love us to be capable of any of that stuff because it shows that Dable's so good at like. If he needs to beat you at the run, he can beat you at the run. And like throughout the season, he's been able to adapt to opposing teams. And I felt like the Giants so many times, like we changed it up a little bit and we beat the Eagles that one game. And that was really like after it went downhill, that was like the only thing we changed because we went to more of a run based, then feed off the run to the pass, as opposed to just we have to pass, let Daniel run. Like that was basically what it was very predictable is what we were doing. And throughout the season, the Bills have been able to, condition their offense to they've been able to cater to who they're playing so they can attack their weaknesses. And the Giants just ran the same plays over and over again. And like teams have film on that stuff. So when you've run the same 55 plays or whatever it is, they're going to be like, oh, these are the ones they're going to run. That's all we got to prepare for. When you see the Bills running stuff where Gabriel Davis is like, if you look at his route chart, where they show like the lines that they run the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Gabriel Davis's routes were basically all just like down the field. It was like, okay, well, what works? Putting this guy in a seam route in the middle of the field, just send him down to the end zone. And it worked so many times for Gabriel Davis. And he's able to cater routes and just everything towards who he's playing and to attack those weaknesses. He knew that the Chiefs were weak without Tyrann Mathieu especially, and was able to attack that. And you saw that 4th and 13 where they kept the game alive. It would have been a Chiefs win in the 4th at that point, and Josh Allen was able to check down, throw it to Gabriel Davis. It's Brian Dable writing up all those plays. He's calling the right plays. He's making those decisions to send into Josh Allen. That's giving Josh Allen the ability to win. And Daniel Jones, you can shit on Daniel Jones all you want, but like how many times was Daniel truly put in a position to succeed and to win, whether it be just shit play calling by Jason Garrett or Freddie Kitchens or Joe Judge or whoever it was that was calling the plays, whether it be the shit play calling by that or just being like the lack of any kind of creativity offensively. Like, I mean, we're Dan Stans, obviously, so we are biased, but like, I just don't think he had a fair shake at it. No. I just don't think he's never been a quarterback under snap or under center, especially under the Joe Judge thing. Under the Joe Judge regime, it's like, dude, he like, yeah, things looked bright and like he made stuff happen, but like he was never put in a situation where it was like, all right, this is catering to Daniel Jones, other than like the RPO, and that was really because that was the only way we could move the ball.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be a good win-win situation this year because I think if we have a new GM, new head coach with hopefully good ideas, and then we have Daniel Jones there Worst case scenario, if it still doesn't work out, well, it's the last year of his contract.
We get a year. It's a
Shit.
free year, Daniel Jones, basically.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Also, yeah, what was up with those replays? Was that a new thing where it was like it looked like the Techno Bowl video game where it's like overhead weird shit that they were doing, where they was drawing the lines where the players are running and then the ball would go.
Oh, they've been doing that lately. But yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like that.
I liked it, but also I was kind of like, why don't you just show the replay? Why are you doing this weird?
Well, because it'll show you like all the routes that they've run throughout or like the instant replay where they show that. That's more of like the analytical stuff. I like just the chart where it just shows like this is so and so. These are their routes. Because like you'll watch Cooper Kupps for the Rams, and like he does have some goes a couple of times each game, but a lot of them are just across the middle of the field kind of routes and stuff like that. I like seeing like, oh, this guy is more of this type of receiver. But yeah, those are cool to watch. Like if you're watching like an analytical type breakdown of it.
Also, Alex O says Joe Schoen has ties with Bill O'Brien. Like Alex, I love the fact that you're here every week, but I feel that you bring up Bill O'Brien every week at this point.
Well, he was the Texans coach, and the Texans were long suffering under Bill O'Brien, so that's why he's doing that as a joke. But yeah, no, Bill O'Brien is not even interviewed with the Giants, and I don't think he's scheduled to. Just quickly before we move on to the Giants, Bobby Skinner from Talking Giants, big fan of his work, but he's done a pretty good job of putting out like the pros and cons of coaches that we're talking to. And do you want me to run through just a few of them at least? Like Leslie Frazier, he's attached to Schoen with the Bills. There's a DC. It says pro Leslie Frazier, first and second defense, 2 of the last 2 years, with 18th in the last 5 years is like his floor. His top 8 in interceptions in 5 straight years. Opponents' quarterbacks in the last 81 games under Frazier have thrown for less than 200 passing yards a game, 86 touchdowns and 82 interceptions. He's a forward thinker with coverage scheme and philosophy, and he's already got head coaching experience with the Vikings. The case against Leslie Frazier: failed as Vikings head coach, 2 years as Bucs defensive coordinator. In 14 and 15, he was bad. Oldest candidate for the Giants that they're talking to, and the 13 seconds bullet point. Oh, yeah. So, like, he did give up a tie game. He let the opposing team drive to the field on them in 13 seconds. So that looks bad. That leaves a taste in your mouth, on the way out. Then Brian Flores took a tanking Dolphins team to 5 wins, 19 and 14 record following 2 years. So he can win without great talent. He's blitz heavy on defense, creates turnovers. Offenses have not been horrible with a horrible offensive line and a young quarterback, and he demands the most of his players. Then he says, right offensive coordinator and quarterback erases his flaws. Then the case against him, handing off to Tua, especially when other players had been bad, has had a revolving door of coordinators, similar to Joe Judge, so Giants could be a weird fit, and he's very conservative on 4th down. Then the case for Dable, this is the last one I'll do. His development of Josh Allen, which is, I think, huge. A huge reason we'd bring him in. He's the 3rd and 2nd ranked offenses the last 2 seasons. He's heavy run pass option and play action usage, which benefits Daniel Jones's style as well. He's very adaptable to opponent and personnel. Run game is versatile and efficient and situationally aware, and he's simple but effective at route running concepts. Kind of like what I was saying about Gabriel Davis, where you just saw like the goes or just, like slants and stuff like that. Like I think that those are all positives to him, and like the flaws. He was limited in his success before Buffalo, bottom 5 offenses in 3 of 4 years with really bad quarterbacks from 2009 to 2012. And in his 2019 offense, Josh Allen devolved, but still was not a great offense. He also has no head coaching experience. I don't know. I feel like Dable makes me feel the best about those.
I agree. I concur. But the no head coach experience is. I think it's going to be tough for you to get with the position that the Giants are in. It's going to be tough to get anyone who's had head coach experience and is going to be good. You know what I mean? You could easily probably get a former head coach that wasn't successful.
Well, you could get Leslie Frazier, you get Dan Quinn, you could get those guys that were, or Brian Flores. I mean, all of those guys, besides Patrick Graham and Dable, have head coaching experience. Whether it be successful or very limited, they have. And I think that's why I would say like Quinn out of those guys, I would take Quinn probably over Frazier, just because he's been around as a head coach longer.
You're calling it here first. Exclusive
I want
on
Dable.
Claret and Big
Dable.
Blue. Our new head coach will be named Brian. We're calling it now. The life of Brian. I would never curse the Giants with O'Brien. Yes, no O'Brien. Yes to just regular Brian. There you go. But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, interviews are going on until Thursday. Hopefully by next week's episode, we'll have a new head coach to celebrate and get around and hopelessly buy in to his culture and all that bullshit that we'll do again. Be exciting stuff.
We'll do that. We're going to sell ourselves 100%.
It's going to be an interesting show next week. So join us in. By the way, I like the conversation when when I mentioned the Giants being number 4 in fan attendance. Yes, because we're awesome, and I helped fudge those numbers by going to a game that we won.
You did.
So go see. I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part for the team. I was there, and they won. So you're welcome.
It works.
Anyway, what should we talk about next? Are we talking about West Ham? Because I honestly, I have nothing this week for how many things can you name. We'll have to do one.
You're good.
Week, but
you're good on that.
Good for that. But now, so yeah, exciting things to look forward to for the Giants. Let's wrap up with some
Hammer time.
Hammer time. West Ham United. Not again much to talk about. We've got one game and then nothing to look forward to because we've got stupid winter break in the Premier League.
6 years before our next game.
It's so annoying.
I'll be 100 years old.
But their beard will be amazing by then.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
So the only thing we have to talk about is West Ham's unfortunate loss against Manchester United. What were your thoughts?
This is what it was. It was bullshit, Mike. It was bullshit. First off, fuck you, Cristiano Ronaldo. You little bitch-ass motherfucker. Like, what a little soft, little whiny baby is he. Like, oh, no, I tripped. But like when he fell down and acted like he was, like, murdered and just rolled around
Zuma?
on the ground. Like, yeah, it was like Zuma he barely was near you, dude. What the fuck's your problem? And Ronaldo he thinks he is a superstar. I mean, I'm not saying he's not, but just he tries to get those superstar calls so bad. And
Fucking
it's like
chased the referee around for 5 minutes, asking,
yeah,
why
did
you give me that?
Absolutely nothing. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why they reward that shit. Like, I guess you have to reward it to both of those, but it's like, if you look at it, like the amount of him bitching probably added 2 minutes to the fucking stoppage time. And the stoppage time is where we lost. So like, you could look at like, if they don't allow that to factor in, but then if West Ham was down, I would have wanted the stoppage time. So I just talked myself out of my own take. But really, Cavani was offside to me. Cavani was offside. Fuck him. And then like they said they looked at it. Allegedly they looked at it. I screenshotted it and then looked at it on my phone and I convinced myself that it was offside.
I mean, who knows? Whatever. But yes,
I refuse to accept this as a loss. I am protesting this loss.
But yeah, the point stands in that it was like when that goal went in, they looked at it on VAR for like 10 seconds. If West Ham had scored that would have been.
Oh, we'd still be looking at it.
That would have been 5 minutes.
We'd still be looking at it, and then it wouldn't have counted. Wouldn't have counted.
Fucking big club bias, as they say. Big fucking club bias.
It was bullshit. And then there was some sus like no fouls there towards the end of stoppage time. I thought that I thought Cavani was being a little rough there with a couple of our guys, and maybe they should have blown the whistle there. Who knows how much longer we have with time at that point. It just sucks that it was like literally like the last kick. Really,
I was so pissed off.
The last minute of extra time in. We were fucked.
Well, if you want to, we need to look on the positives, I guess. I thought it was a very good performance by West Ham. I think we were very much their equals.
We were hesitant when it came to
we was a little
offense,
bit
dude.
hesitant.
There were. I love Lanzini, but there were 2 times where Lanzini had it, and
He had the ball and he kept the
he was
ball
outside
too
the
long.
box. You can't. Yeah, it's like just kick the fucking ball. Kick the ball to that dude. That's what you do. Kick it from wherever. Look, if the ball comes near you, and we are heading down the field offensively, just fucking shoot it. Don't think about it. Just fire that bad boy away. That's how we put points up with Lanzini. And then Antonio, I felt like he was hesitant with the ball, and then they just again you can jump on him and treat him like you're his backpack, and they're gonna never get anything. They're never gonna call you for that. But Antonio runs down somebody, and he gets called for a foul. For you're not allowed to do that. It's like, what are they doing over here? Like you can just fight him and not get anything. And if he does, it's not our fault that he's jacked, man.
Yeah, it's to say it happens pretty much every game where someone will foul him and the referee won't do anything, and then literally 30 seconds later he'll do the exact same thing, if not lighter, on someone else, and they'll blow the whistle.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same fucking thing. Yes, I think offensive towards the final third. I think our big thing was for some reason we were taking way too many touches. I don't know. It was annoying to me rather than they could just fucking shoot the ball or pass it. They was trying to be, I guess, too fancy. I don't know what it was, but it happened several occasions. It just annoyed the shit out of me. Like, just get rid of the fucking ball. If you're not competent, but I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I think definitely improved at the back with Zuma coming back. He was
what a difference that guy made.
Fantastic again. It was like you could almost relax a little bit, because before, even against Norwich and Leeds, she was whenever they had the ball and they were attacking, it was
there's glaring weaknesses at that point, and we didn't really have that. And just I don't know. I know Man U's struggling, and it seems like they're sort of riding the ship in a way, but I don't know. I haven't really been impressed with the way West Ham's played the last couple of games, but just being able to we were in all 3 games with Man United. We beat them in the cup, but it's those games we show up for. It's the other teams where you're dropping points against Southampton and shit like that. It's
Leeds.
That's Leeds, my bad. But that's what pisses me off about West Ham. We show up in those bigger games, and even if we don't win them, we're in it. And I'm not trying to. That is loser talk. But just where West Ham was 3 seasons ago, and the fact that we're consistently competing with these big teams, and it's not there's always that team that can beat up on the bad teams that then just gets whipped anytime they play a City or a United or Chelsea or anything like that. And we've beaten Chelsea this year. We've dominated the last couple of years. Tottenham we've had in our pocket for the last couple of years. We're competing with the big teams in the league, and that's what we need to be consistent at. But we just got to be able to pick up the points where it makes it okay if we lose a 1-0 game to Man United, because when that Leeds game, just I don't want to look back at how are we out of the Champions League or how are we out of Europa, because we lost a game to Leeds and then lost to United the following week. That's 6 points we just gave away. And if we could have salvaged 3 out of that, we're sitting pretty in the table at that point.
Yeah, you need goals, you need points, and I think it was nice that historically, whenever we do face the quote unquote big teams, we just kind of sit back and let them have the ball. And it's normally our percentage of possession is ridiculously low. But this one was we held our own. We was there. We only had 1 shot on target, which was obviously disappointing. But that's the whole another thing where we need to get other striking options, so that if Antonio's not having the best of days, we can actually have other options.
Right.
But we'll see how that works out. But I don't think it's because we only the problem is it's beating a dead horse is depth. We made 1 substitution for that whole game.
I thought that too. I was like, did we make 2 subs that I didn't see? And my buddy was like, no, man, we've only used 1. All right.
I don't know why Vlasic didn't at least.
Were we so worried about getting Yeah, I don't know. I thought that he would have at least gotten an opportunity, but it was suspicious to me. But I don't know. I don't want to go against anything Moyes does now at this point because obviously he knows way more than we do.
Yeah, but I mean, it's consistent. 'Cause the only things I would have to say negatively about him is his substitution choices, and he's been consistent with that. I'm still sometimes like, why did you make that substitution, or why didn't you make the substitution? I don't understand. I mean, I guess you don't want to, because at the time, I guess you don't want to mess things up, because up until literally the last kick of the game, we were in the game against United. But I don't know. It would have been nice to see some more attacking options brought on, because the only change he made was Sufal for Fredericks, which is a like for like. It's not changing anything. So who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
We
got a while off now.
We got yeah, exactly. That's why didn't we just fucking go for it? Because who
You're not gonna be gassed out in it, yeah.
And then we've got, what was it, like 6 days left of the transfer window, 5 days left now. We haven't done anything. Like, are you getting concerned? Stressed?
A little bit, but in Moyes we trust, right? Just keep telling ourselves that. We are still sitting fifth. I mean, Arsenal has 2 games in hand. Tottenham has 3. Tottenham has 3 games in hand. Yeah. Wolves have 2 games in hand.
I mean, worst case scenario, if everything goes well, we could end up 8th, but I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think everyone's going to win their games.
I don't think so either, dude. I think we're going to be able to figure it out. It's just, it's frustrating right now because we could be up, we could be 4th easily, but we would have had some separation in 4th if we had beaten United, or even if we had just gotten the point, we'd still be sitting 4th. I'm happy that we're bitching about City 4th instead of whether or not we're 17th or 16th, but I'd like more.
Yeah, I mean, you can't look back and be like, oh, if we won that. But, we should have beat Leeds. We could have beat Man United, and then that would have put us 4 points behind Chelsea with a game in hand. Suddenly we're like, oh shit. But it's
are we gonna be able to catch them? Yeah, that would have been an awesome conversation to have.
Alex, did I miss how many things can Alex name? No, because of poor preparation, I forgot to bring up something.
We're talking head coaching, we were researching.
How many head coach candidates can you name? And he named all of them.
And named them all.
Nailed it. But yeah, that'll be back next week. I don't know what I'm just going to try to work out something. Maybe like hard seltzer brands or something. Flavors. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, we don't want to get too far ahead because we need content. So next week we'll talk about hopefully the new head coach of the Giants, and we'll be previewing the hot game against Kidderminster. Woo woo!
Yeah.
So you don't want to miss that. Don't want to miss that. I guess before we a little light on content this week, but we don't want to drag things out. Before we start promoting our other projects, anything else on your mind that you kind of wanted to vent or get out there before?
Not really, man. Not really. I'm gonna be doing that on Past the Gravy tomorrow, but it'll be good. So I actually don't even have a not cool yet that I can think of. I gotta think of one.
You got mine though, right?
Did you send it in?
Yeah, I did.
Today? I haven't looked. So...
Yes.
Okay.
And I even sent one for PGG Answers. Oh my god, I was involved. Crushing life right now. And then I even text you an idea for the pre-cum segment. I'm just giving you so much content right now. But speaking of, so we've got this podcast, which is awesome. You should always check it out. Make sure if you are listening to us, why not join us live on Tuesdays, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Central on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Or if you don't, you can listen to us, however you want to do it. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Good Pods, whatever you want to do. Go to cbbpod.com for all those links. But then we obviously do other shows. Tomorrow we've got 2 new episodes of Waffle Box and Past the Gravy. Alex, one of the good folks of the Gravy Gang, got to look forward to on tomorrow's Pass the Gravy?
I mean, we're gonna answer your questions, and I have some pretty sweet ideas of my own, some business ideas I'm gonna pitch. We're gonna talk about Ukraine, but we're also gonna learn about cranes because I think a lot of people are just focusing on war, and I think we should not focus on war so much. We should focus on cranes because crane is probably the coolest part of Ukraine's name. So we're gonna learn about the birds, cranes, and maybe just construction cranes too. I don't know. Who knows where that segment's gonna go? Taylor Swift is in a fight with your people, and by that I mean the British. Those redcoats. They're pissing off the Swifties. And speaking of pee and pissing off, we're gonna teach you guys what pushing pee means because I'm a big pee pushing guy now.
Yeah, is that where you're gonna explain why your pee is in blue?
Yeah, dude, all the cool kids are doing that now. I'm getting hip with. I'm pushing P, dude. It's not very P that you don't know what P is, dude. You're not being very P right now. All right.
No, I'm not.
You'll listen to Pass the Gravy tomorrow.
I will. I always do.
P. I'll teach you how to be very P on Pass the Gravy tomorrow. At Pass the Gravy Pod on Twitter and Instagram, and then go like us on Facebook, Pass the Gravy Podcast, as well as our YouTube channel. Just search Pass the Gravy Podcast. Hit that subscribe button. What's going on Waffle Box?
So going back, I mean, whenever I look for stuff to talk about, I'm struggling. I was struggling because it's literally sort of COVID, war, COVID, war. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. But no, this week
CNN though is like fucking just jerking off to it though. We don't have the one CNN TV that I have at my office is like in an area that I go edit stuff during the show, and CNN's always on. And I always just like checking the headlines. Like I used to play a game when Trump was the president. It was just like, how many times during the show is Trump going to be the headline that I walk in and see? And it was like 10, 15 times sometimes. But now it's just like COVID, Ukraine, COVID, Ukraine, COVID. They love it. Love them some COVID in Ukraine right now.
This is
I don't even know. Like we're going to war with Ukraine. Is that what's happening, Mike?
Might be.
Explain global economics with me right now.
So apparently, Russia might invade Ukraine for some reason. I don't know.
Haven't we already done that? Haven't we already been down this road? Wasn't that Crimea?
The ball went over the backyard, and then they wouldn't give it back, and so they give. I don't know what it is. And so everyone, US and UK have been like, Russia, don't do it. Don't, no. And so Russia, if they will do it, apparently we're going to go, which I'm sure is going to end very well if that happens.
Yeah, this seems like that might not. But
no, so
we're going to learn about Ukraine and cranes.
What we're talking about in Waffle Box is a real life weekend at Bernie's that happened in Ireland a little while ago, which is fun. The worst ever and the longest ever blind date that happened recently. And how China have released a new version of the movie Fight Club with a slightly, and I say slightly, a huge change to the ending.
He says slightly, lightly, if you know what I'm saying.
I say slightly, lightly. That'd be a t-shirt. But yeah, so check that out. And we've got so much more to talk about. It's going to be a fun show. Just forget about COVID in Ukraine. Listen to Waffle Box and Pass the Gravy.
Yeah.
You should do that. Check that out. Enjoy wafflebox.com or waffleboxpod on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all that good stuff. Okie dokie. And Alex, so last one, he wants to talk about the Winter Olympics. No, too soon. Next week.
Winter Olympics, though. We're going to talk some Winter Olympics.
We're going to do some huge...
You better believe it, dude. What's England's thing in the Winter Olympics? Do they have a thing?
I don't think that... Do they have a thing? Because
Americans is pretty much everything.
Because in England,
besides,
if it's
like cross-country skiing, but I think we even won that, and it used to not be curling either, but we fucking won that too.
Like if in England, if like one tiny little snowflake falls, as soon as it hits the ground, it's like all the trains are cancelled, all the buses are cancelled, everyone's inside. So I don't think Winter Olympics. No, like you get I guess it depends. If like down south where I was from, very very rarely. If you're in like the the north and Scotland, then I guess they get snow quite a bit, but it's terrible. So yeah, I can't think of anything that. I'm sure we're good at something, but
we're
see.
gonna we got you into Kentucky, or like you got into Kentucky. We'll have to figure something for you to get into. Maybe you'll be a big shit. What is it called? I'm picking it for you right now. It's I don't know, whatever it is. It's like skiing, but also shooting at the same time.
Skiing shooting event.
Shooting name.
The biathlon?
Biathlon. Yep. Which makes me just think about how they came up with it. All right. What if you were not the fastest skier? You weren't the best long distance skier, but they're okay, but what if we added guns to it? Well, why would we add guns? I don't fucking know, dude. You just gotta stop periodically and shoot shit. I mean, you know what? Actually, it sounds pretty sick. Let's try it. And they're like, see, I'm the best at it. I've been doing this in my yard for years.
They must be we need one more event.
They weren't good enough to make it into the shooting in the Summer Olympics, but they were also not quite good enough to get into the skiing in the Winter Olympics. So they're like, what if just combine the two? Boom.
No, I think
we got ourselves a sport.
Someone was thinking that do you ever think how in America you have the drive-by shooting? Do you reckon
wow, getting dark now.
Do you think in snowy countries that in Norway the drive-by shooting they're skiing? And someone's like, oh, what if we had guns to the skiing event? Genius. But I think we could come up with a better name than biathlon.
Biathlon sounds cool, though. It sounds like it's not.
It could be anything. It's just two events smashed into one. Yeah. Biathlon.
Let's just have a triathlon, but it's not anything related to working out.
If you had a triathlon?
You have a beer, a shot, and
then you have to do that thing where you put your head on the pole and you run around.
A glass of wine, beer, a shot, and a glass of wine. You're like, I just did a triathlon.
No, I think the triathlon would be better if rather than a shotgun, they had two pistols, like a cowboy, and so they skied, got out to it, and then carried on skiing. That'd be way more fun.
What does athlon mean? It means contest. It comes from the ancient Greek word athlon, meaning contest or prize of a contest. So a biathlon or triathlon could literally just be two activities.
Exactly. So it's a very vague name. We need a better name for the ski shooting event.
We need to just come up with our own triathlons.
Scooting.
26.2 ounces, and we'll start putting those stickers on our car instead of miles. Ooh, put that up in the store.
What's that? A sticker?
Just a 26.2 OZ sticker, and you can put it on your car.
Wait, what is 22 ounces?
26.2. That means you just have to drink 26.2 ounces. You have to run 26.2 miles if you're running a triathlon or a marathon. I mean. I don't know. We'll discuss this off air. We'll
workshop it. It's fine.
We got great ideas coming, though.
Oh, that merch.cbpod.com is going to be fucking fire in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. Okay. Yeah, so check this out. Waffle Box Pod, Pass the Gravy Pod. Check those out. Send us your ideas at Mr. Mike Fish or at Alex J. Middleton for your new names for the skiing shooting event, because biathlon, in my opinion, is a terrible name. But until next week, don't forget.
Seahorses forever.
And we'll see you next Tuesday.
Hey, let's go to Peyton. He's going to break down that touchdown.
Can't hear shit.
Never mind.